Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. Today, undoubtedly, you are going to learn a lot of rules concerning making a conditional statement in the Arabic language. And we are going to be dealing majorly with one of the particles of conditions in the Arabic language, and that is in. Recall that previously in the last episode, we also discussed about either as a conditional particle, where we brought a lot of examples on it. If you have not watched that video, click on the link above to watch it before you continue with this. Recall that while we talked about either, there were a lot of rules guiding either. An example we gave then was where we said, إِذَا جَاءَ الْمُدَرِّسُ فَاسْأَلُهُ. We said, when the teacher comes, or if the teacher comes, ask him. So this was an example of a conditional statement. Now we also want to look at in as a conditional particle and the rules governing it. Now the word in, just like either, means if. So when I say in, it means what? If. As I've said this, you may already be thinking of some of the verses of the Quran which you know to contain the word in. Can you give me one? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in tansurullaha yansurkum. This is a verse of the Quran. In ja'akum fasikun binaba'in fatabayyanu. In a lot of places, you will see the word in. And this in has a lot of rules. Now, to point for you, the word in has subordinates. What do I mean by that? It has sisters, meaning there are some other words, as you can see on the board, which also have the same rules guiding them as conditional particle. One of these words is the word man, the word ma, the word mahma, and ayu, and the rest of them, which we shall see in this lesson as we move on, inshallah. Now, first, to give you an example with the word in, consider the sentence, in tadhhab, adhhab. What is the meaning of this? It means, if you go, I will go. This is a conditional statement. If I will only go as long as you go, meaning if you don't go, I will not go. But if you go, conditionally, I will go. Now, what do you notice? You will see that when the word in comes, the two verbs are made to be carrying sukun, which we call al-jazmu. This means that the word in and the sisters which I've mentioned to you, man, ma, mahma, ayu, and the rest of them, all of them, they will make the verb to carry sukun. Yes, in tadhhab, if you go, tadhhab, you don't say tadhhabu or tadhhaba. In tadhhab, if you go, adhhab, I will go. And you know that in my previous lesson, I told you about the four particles which will make a single verb to carry sukun. And I give an example of the particles like la and nahiya, la tadhhab, don't go. Particles like lamul amr, liyadhhab kullu talibin, and the rest of them. Now, when you look at the word in and the other particles which I've mentioned to you for today's lesson, these ones, they will not only affect a single verb, or rather, they will affect two verbs. And you can see it clearly in tadhhab, if you go. Adhhab, you can see both tadhhab and adhhab are carrying sukun. An example for the word man, I can say man yakul yashba. Whoever eats becomes satisfied. Can you see? He becomes satisfied. Man yakul with sukun. He becomes what? Satisfied. Yashba. Can you see? Now I can say mahma ta'kul lan tashba. However you eat, you will never become satisfied. Mahma ta'kul. So all of these particles, I can also say an example like ayya kutubin taqra aqra. Any book you read, I will read. Can you see? All of these particles, they will change two verbs to carry in sukun. And I wouldn't want to take your time. I just want us to dive in straight in to the conversation between the teacher and also some of the students, so we can learn generally this rule of in and the sisters and how they are used in a lots and lots of sentences and some other things that we're going to attach for you as we proceed in this lesson. Hope you are ready. If you are, before you move on, don't pass here without subscribing and pressing on the join button to be part of our membership to get our members only perks. Now we have Ad-Darsul Khamis Ashab lesson 15, still from our book Durusul Lughat Al-Arabiyyah Lighairi Nattaqina Biha, and the English version is called Madeenah Arabic Course. If you've not gotten this, you can click on the description box to download your PDF file, or you can get the English copy of it through our Amazon link. And if you do that, it will do you no cost and it will be a benefit to our channel. Let's move on. Al-Mudarris said, Ya Yasiru, oh Yasir, innaka gibta usbu'aini kamilaini. You were absent for 2 weeks. In Tagib, can you see? In is coming. In Tagib, if you go absent, Ba'da hada, after this, Tufsal, you will be expelled. Can you see? In Tagib, if you go absent again after this, Tufsal, you will be expelled. So the word in Tagib, that is the condition. Tagib there is the condition, while the in there is called adatu shart, that is the particle of condition. The tagib, which is the verb there, is the condition. If you are absent again, tufsal, this is the jawabu shart, which is the response, that is the result. If you go absent, you will be expelled. فَإِنَّ اللَّائِحَةَ تَنُصُّ عَلَى أَنَّهُ, because the al-laiha, the rule, the bylaw, is stating that Man yagib akthara min usbu'aini yutwa qayduhu. Whoever is absent for more than 2 weeks, his name will be removed or his register will be folded. Can you see? So another particle of condition, which is man. What did he say? Man yagib. Whoever is absent, man yagib. Akthara min usbu'aini, for more than 2 weeks, yutwa qayduhu. What is the answer here? Yutwa. So that is the shart, that jawabu shart. So here we have 3 parts. The first one is adatu shart, the particle of condition, which is man. The second is the asharuto, which is the condition, and the last is what? Jawabu shart, the response and the result. Yasirun said, Lan agiba ba'da hadha insha'Allah. I will never be absent again after this, Allah's willing. Al-Mudarris says, Kam marratin qulta li hakadha. How many times have you told me this? In the Arabic language, as we shall learn further, the word kam could be used in 2 ways or even more, but we are going to be basically talking about the 2 types of kam that we have. The first type, that is what we have discussed earlier, which we call kam al-istifhamiyya, the interrogative kam, when we say kam taliban fi faslik, how many students are in your class? This is a way of interrogating, questioning. The second type of kam is called kam al-khabariyya. That is an informational kam, a kam which we use to pass an information, not to ask question. So when the teacher says, Kam marratin qulta li hadha, how many times have you told me this? He is not asking Yasir a question, or rather, he is telling him that you have told me this a lot of times, so many times. So it is of no benefit. Can you see? Kam marratin qulta li hadha. Yasir said, Ma kuntu agibu illa bi udhrin. I wasn't going absent except for a reason or an excuse. The teacher said, Mahma yakunil udhru, whatsoever the reason may be, falan yuqbala ba'da al-ana, it will never be accepted after now. Yes. So you can see another particle of condition, which is mahma, however, whichever. MashaAllah, yadkhulu Nu'man. It is at this point of the conversation that Nu'man entered the class. Man ja'a mutaakhirun, the teacher says, Man ja'a mutaakhirun, whoever comes late, fala yadkhul hatta yasta'dhina, should not enter until he seeks for permission. So you can see, man ja'a, man is also a particle of condition. And Nu'man says, Ana asifun, I am what? Sorry. Ra'aytuka mashghulan, I saw you busy. فَدَخَلْتُ حَتَّى لَا أَشْغَلَكَ, and I entered in order not to distract you. يدخل المراقب ويسلم. It is at this point that the compound master enters into the class and he says Assalamu alaikum. Al-Muraqib said, هَاؤُمُ عِلَانًا مُهِمًّا. O you all, Hudhu, take this important information and announcement. هذه خمسة كتيبات مفيدة. These are 5 small books. تحوي قصصا إسلامية, which comprises and contain Islamic stories. فَمَنْ يَقْرَأْهَا, whoever reads it, وَيُجِبْ عَنِ الْأَسْئِلَةِ, and answers the questions الْوَارِدَ فِي آخِرِهَا, which appears at the end of the books, فَلَهُ جَائِزَةٌ, such a person will have a gift. Can you see? فَمَنْ يَقْرَأْهَا, whoever reads it. This is a conditional statement. What will be the response? فَلَهُ جَائِزَةٌ, he will have a gift. Now, فَمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَشْتَرِكَ فِي هَذِهِ الْمُسَابَقَةِ, whoever wants to participate in this competition, فَلْيُسَجِّلْ اسْمَهُ عِنْدِي, should register his name with me. Ibrahim said, Ya Sheikh, O Sheikh, لَا نَجِدُكَ فِي مَكْتَبِكَ فِي كَثِيرٍ مِنَ الْأَحْيَانِ, we do not find you in your office a lot of time. Al-Muraqib said, In lam tajiduni, if you do not find me, fi maktabi, in my office, fasatajidunani fi maktabil mudir, you will find me in the principal's office. Ya fadilata shaykh, he now called unto the teacher, Inna Abdullahi fi maktabi, indeed Abdullah is in my office. In i'tadara ilayka fahal tasmah lahu bid-dukhul, if he seek your permission and he gave you an excuse, will you allow him to enter? Al-Mudarris says, Na'am, yes. Yusallimu al-Muraqib wa yakhruj. At this point, the Muraqib, the compound master, greeted and he left. Ya Ahmadu, the teacher said, Oh Ahmad, Iqra il-ayat al-warida fi dars, read the verse which appears in the lesson. Ahmad says, بعد الاستعاذة والبسملة, after reciting isti'adha and basmala, that يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن تنصروا الله ينصركم ويثبت أقدامكم. Allah says, O you who believe, if you help Allah, He will help you and He will make your feet firm. This is a conditional statement. In tansurullah, if you help Allah, in tansuru, this is the condition. Yansurukum, He will help you. Jawabu shart, can see. Ibrahim says, لماذا جزمت الأفعال الواردة في هذه الآية؟ Ya Father Sheikh, oh teacher, why were the verbs in this lesson, in this verse, why were they made to carry sukun? This is the question. The teacher said, in adatu sharutin tajzimu fi'lain. He said, the word in is a particle of condition, a conditional particle, which makes 2 verbs to carry sukun. Nahwa, an example, in tajtahid tanjah. If you struggle, if you work hard, you will pass. Can you see? In tajtahid tanjah. In tadhhab ila suki adhhab ma'ak. If you go to the market, I will go with you. This is also a conditional statement. وَيُسَمَّى الْأَوَّلُ فِعْلَ الشَّرْطِ. He said, as for the first verb which comes after in, it is called the asharutu, the condition. وَالْآخَرُ, and the last is called what? Jawabu shart, the response to the condition. وَفِي الْآيَةِ الْكَرِيمَةِ, and in the glorious verse, or honorable verse, فِعْلُ الشَّرْطِ tansuru. The verb of condition is the word tansuru, because he says in tansuru laha. Wa jawabuhu, and the answer to that is what? Yansur, he will help. Wal fa'ilu yuthabbitu, and as for the word yuthabbit, ma'tufun ala yansur is a conjunction. It follows it in terms of rule because it is following after it as a conjunction verb. Can you see? Arju an takunu qad fahimtum. I hope you understood. Atastati'u an tadhkura ayatan ukhra tahwi in ya Yasir. At this point, teacher asked that, oh Yasir, can you mention another verse from the Quran which has in? The teacher Yasir said, Na'am bi'awnillah, yes, with the help of Allah. Qala ta'ala, Allah says, وَإِن تَعُودُوا نَعُودْ. And if you all return, we return. Can you see? This is the verse in the Quran. If you return, we return. So this is a conditional statement. The teacher said, Ahsanta, you did well. أيمكنك أن تذكر آية أخرى يا نعمان? Oh Nu'man, can you mention another verse from the Quran? Nu'man said, Na'am bi'awnillah, yes, with the help of Allah. Qala ta'ala, Allah, the Most High says, وَإِلَّا تَغْفِرْ لِي وَتَرْحَمْنِي أَكُنْ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And if you do not forgive me and have mercy upon me, أَكُنْ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ, I will be of the losers. This is a conditional statement that I'm going to be of the losers, except with the condition that you, my creator Allah, you forgive me. May Allah forgive all of us. Ameen. Al-Mudarris, the teacher said, MashaAllah, illa, the word illa, huna, asluha, illa in, wala an-nafiya. When you say the word illa, which means except, the origin of this word is in first, plus la, the negative la. So it means if not, if no, illa, except. That means if not. Can you see? That's how we break it down for you. MashaAllah. Ahmad said, Athammata adawatin ukhra tajzimu fi'laini ya ustaz. Oh, our teacher, are there other particles which can make two verbs to carry sukun? Oh, our teacher? And Mudarris said, Na'am, yes. In harufun, the word in is a particle. وَهُنَاكَ عَشْرَةُ أَسْمَاءٍ تَجْزِمُ فِعْلَيْنِ. And there are other nouns. Apart from this particle, there are other nouns. These ones, we call them nouns. In is what we call a particle. As for the others, we call them a noun. But these nouns, they make two verbs to also carry sukun. Ahammuha, the most important of these 10 nouns that we have mentioned are man. Number one, man, we have the word man, which means who. Nahu, an example of that, we say, Allah says in the Quran, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. Whoever does an atom weight of good deed, he will see good. This is a conditional statement. As long as you do an atom weight of good deed, you are going to see the results. Then the second noun that we also have, which also does the same thing, is called ma. An example, let's say in the Quran, that وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمُهُ اللَّهُ. And whatever you do of good, you will see it. So Allah knows it. Can you see? MashaAllah. The next is the word mata, which means when. Nahu, an example is what? Mata tusafir, usafir. Whenever you travel, I will travel. So the condition is that anytime you're going to travel, I am surely going to travel with you. Aina, the next is aina, which means where. An example is what? Aina taskun, wherever you live. Askun, where you live is where I will live. وَكَثِيرًا مَا تَلْحَقُهَا مَا. As for this aina, a lot of times it doesn't just appear alone. Rather, it appears with ma. That's why you say أينما. Now, أينما. Allah said in the Quran that أينما تكونوا يدرككم الموت. Allah Akbar. As we learn the Arabic language, Quran becomes so much easy for us. May Allah reward us. Ameen. So Allah says أينما تكونوا, wherever you are, يدرككم الموت. Death will meet you there. Allah Akbar. May our death meet us in the best of places. أينما تكونوا يدرككم الموت. Even if do yet to be in a very tightened cave, Allah Akbar, or hole. So we can see the word Aynama, whatever. I can also say Aynama tadhhab, adhhab. Wherever you go, I will go. Do you understand? Aynama tajlis, ajlis. Wherever you sit, I will sit. Aynama takum, akum. Wherever you stand, I will stand. The next of these nouns, which also have the same work with in and the rest of them, is the word ayyub. An example is what? أي معجم نجد في المكتبة نشتري. Whichever dictionary we see in the library, we buy it. Can you see? The next of this word is mahma, which means however. So I can say mahma takul nusaddika. However you say it, we'll believe you. So it is left for you to be truthful. However you say it, ours is to believe you. A conditional statement. افهموا هذا الدرس جيدا. The teacher said, understand this lesson very well. فمن فهم هذا الدرس فقد فهم دروسا كثيرة. Because whoever understands this lesson has understood a lot of lessons. لي درس إضافي. I have an external lesson. هذا المساء, this evening. فمن أراد يستفيد فليحضر. Whoever wants to benefit should be present in the lesson. ومن لم يحضر فليس بملوم. And whoever does not attend will not be blamed. Ahmad says, كلنا سيحضر إن شاء الله. All of us will attend Allah's willing. The teacher said, متى تأتون? When are you all coming? Ahmad said, متى تأتي نأتي. Whenever you come, we come. Can you see, students? They are learning, and as they are learning, they are also putting it into practice. So he says, متى تأتي? Whenever you come, نأتي, we come. Arabic is so sweet, good. From one word, tati, nati. Just no stress. Just understand how to play with your voice, and you are good to go. That's what makes it so beautiful. Now, Al-Mudarris teacher said, Sa'ati sa'ata rabi'ata, inshallah, I will come by 4 o'clock, Allah's willing. Ahmad says, Fi ayyi faslin najlis. In which class do we sit? The teacher said, Ayya faslin najid. Whichever class we see, we find khali, we find empty, najlis fihi, we sit in it. With this lesson alone, I hope you have learned a lot. But we are going to answer a few questions before we move on. The first one says, Man alladhi ghaba usbu'ain. Who was the one who was absent? Who was absent for 2 weeks? We can say, Yasirun ghaba usbu'ain. Yasir was absent for 2 weeks. Next, man alladhi ja'a mutaakhiran. Who came late? Now, who came late? We can see here that an-Nu'manu huwa alladhi ja'a mutaakhiran. Nu'man came late. Last question, fi ayyi sa'atin ya'ti al-mudarris lid-dars al-idafi. At what time will the teacher come for the external lesson? Ya'ti al-mudarris lid-dars al-idafi fi sa'ati rabi'a, by 4 o'clock. MashaAllah. Now let's head on to breaking down the rules which you have learned in a course of reading out and learning from the conversation between the teacher and the students. Let's see. Yakunu sharutul wal jawab. He said, as for the condition, as you have learned, and also the response to the condition or the result, both of them imma mudari'ain. It is either both of them are coming in the present form. As a present tense, an example, let's say, وَإِن تَعُودُوا نَعُودُ, and if you return, we shall return. These 2 words are both present tenses. وَإِمَّا مَاضِيَيْنِ, or it is also possible that both the jawab, the sharutun, and the jawab, both of them will come as a past tense. An example is what? وَإِن أُدْتُمْ أُدْنَا, and if you returned, we also return. Can you see? Udna, the same words used in the present and the past tense. وَإِمَّا مَاضِيًا فَمُضَارِعًا, or it is possible that the first verb will come in the past tense form, and the present tense form will come later. An example, let's say, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ حَرْثَ الْآخِرَةِ, whoever wants the harvest of the hereafter, whoever wants the enjoyment of the hereafter, نَزِدْ لَهُ فِي حَرْثِ, we will increase him in his enjoyment and garden. Number 4, وَإِمَّا مُضَارِعًا فَمَاضِيًا. It is also possible that the first verb will be mudari, present form, and the second will be what? Past tense. An example is what? The Prophet said, مَنْ يَقُمْ لَيْلَةَ الْقَدْرِ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ. Whoever stands up on the day of the Laylatul Qadr, on the night of Laylatul Qadr, his sins will be forgiven for him. So you can see the first word, yakum, is present, and the last word, gufir, is what? Gufirullah is in past tense form. Now let's move on. We have an exercise to solve, a short one. في كل فقرة, in each of these sections, مما يأتي جملتان. In each of these, we have 2 sentences. اجعل فعل الأولى شرطا وفعل الأخرى جوابه مستعملا إن. You are to use the first verb in the first sentence as the shart, the condition, while the second verb you use it as what? The jawabu shart, the response and the answer to the condition. Number 1, we have tansuruni and suruk. You say in tansurni and surka. Very easy. If you help me, I help you. Number 2, we have na'mal salihan nadkhulul jannah. We say in na'mal salihan nadkhul lil jannah. If we do good, we enter paradise. Number 3, we have in ta'kul ta'aman fasidan tamrad. If you eat a spoiled food, you become sick. Next, we have illa tajtahid tarusub. Except you struggle and strive and work hard, you will fail. Next, we have into safiri usafir. If you travel, I will travel. Next, we have intanam mubakiron tastayqid mubakiron. If you sleep early, you wake early. Next, we have intaktubu ilayya. If you all write to me, aktub ilaykum, I will write to you. Next, we have intagib kathiron. If you're absent, a lot, tafut kadurus, less you miss lessons. Next, we have intabi sayyarotaka ashtariha. If you sell your bike or your bicycle, if you sell your car, I will buy it. Next, we have intabi qiyafi makkah abqa. If you both stay in Makkah, I will stay with you. Next, we have illa aktub, answer, except I write, I will forget. Next, I have in tasum godan asum. If you fast tomorrow, I will fast. Next, in takulil haqqa, if you say the truth, tanji, you'll be saved. Next, in tazurni azurka. If you visit me, I visit you. Can you see? Now we have another exercise which says في كل فقرة مما يأتي جملتان اجعل فعل الأولى شرطا وفعل الأخرى جوابه مستعملا أداة الشرط. He says in the following we have 2 sentences. You are to make the first verb to be the shart, which means to be the condition, while the second one you make it as the what? As the jawab shart, as the what? The response, using the particles or the particles of condition which are placed in the middle. First one, you have man yagib akthar min usbu'ain yufsal, ma ta'kul akul, aynama takunu azurukum inshallah, man yarham man la yarham la yurham, mata ta'ud a'ud, ayna tajlis ajlis, mahma taqra aqra, man yatub ila Allah yatub alayhi Allah, man yushrik billahi yadkhulun nar, man yanjah bitakdiri mumtazin yahsul ala jaizatin. Can you see all of these? These are examples and lessons for us to learn and sentences for us to learn from. Now you can see arafta fi الدرس السابق أن جواب الشرط يقترن بالفاء في مواضع منها أن يكون جملة اسمية. Now you see, from the previous lesson you have learned that jawab shart, which means the response to a condition coming in a sentence, there are cases which will make them to be accompanied by fa. These cases are first, an yakuna jumlatan ismiya, if it is a nominal noun as we have learned previously, an yakuna fa'ilan talabiyan, or a request verb, a verb of request, which are 3. One of them is what? Command, al-amru, an-nahyu, prohibition, and al-istifham, interrogation. Now we want to mention the remaining points, the remaining types or cases that will make us to add fa to the jawab shart. One of these is an yakuna fa'ilan jamidan, is for the verb to be a jamid verb. Do you understand? A jamid verb. Can you see? Jamid verb are verbs which do not have what? We do not have present tense form of it. An example is what? Man goshana falaysa minna. Whoever cheats us is not amongst us. So laysa has to come with fa because it is verb of jamid. Another one is what? An yaktarina biqad, is when the jawab is being attached to the word qad. An example is وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ, whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا, such a person has succeeded big time success. Number 5, أَنْ يَقْتَرِنَ بِمَا النَّافِيَةِ, is whenever the jawab is having ma, the negative ma. An example is what? مَهْمَا تَكُنِ الظُّرُوفِ فَمَا أَكْذَبْ, however the situation, I will not lie. Can you see? I'm not going to lie. Fama, Of the ma coming, the fa is there. Number 6, we have an yaktarina bilan. When the jawab the response is coming with lan, so fa need to be added. And you see, man labis al harir of dunya, whoever wears silk in this world, فَلَنْ يَلْبَسَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ, will never wear it in the hereafter. Number 7, we have an yaktarina be seen. When the jawab sharat is having seen there, so fa need to accompany them. An example is what? Into safir, fasa'usafir. If you travel, I shall travel. Number 8, we have an yaqtarina bi sawfa. If sawfa is also coming in it, it also need fa. An example, when khiftum aylat, Allah says, and if you fear poverty, fasawfa yugnikumullahu min fadlihi. Inshallah, Allah will enrich you from His bounties, Allah's willing.
Now, another condition I will make the jawab sharut to have fa is an yusaddaru bi ka'annama, is if it begins with ka'annama. An example, Allah says in the Quran that annahu man qatala nafsan bi ghayri nafsin aw fasadin fil ardi fa ka'annama qatala an-nasa jami'a. So you can see that whoever kills a soul who himself has not taken on that soul and is not causing corruption on the land, فَكَأَنَّمَا is as if, can you see the word? فَكَأَنَّ is as if he killed the whole of humanity. So كَأَنَّمَا here is coming as a jawab and it is accompanied by fa. Now here we have لا يجزم جواب الشرط إذا اقترن بالفاء. Now the jawab الشرط, the response to the condition, it will not become in Joseph case with sukun if fa is attached to it. ويكون الإعراب حينئذ للجملة. Therefore the إعراب will be for the sentence. Then you are going to say إنها في محل جزم, it is in the position of sukun. Now we have another exercise to solve. أدخل الفاء على جواب الشرط في الجمل الآتية إذا كان ذلك واجبا واذكر السبب. You are to attach fa to the jawab shart of each of the following sentences if it is compulsory for you to do so, and mention the reason. Number 1, we have man jadda wajada. Whoever struggles will find it. It is not compulsory here. Number 2, da'a minni alfu riyalin. I lost 1,000 riyals. Faman yajidhu. Whoever finds it, wayatini bihi lahu ushru. Such a person and brings it to me will have 1/10 of it. So you can see you're going to faman yajidhu wayatini bihi falahu. So here we say falahu because lahu here is jumlatun ismiyah. Number 3, we have mahma yakun sababu giyabika faqad fataka darusun muhimmun. So you say mahma yakun sababu giyabika faqad fataka darusun muhimmun. Whatsoever your excuse for being absent is, you have missed an important lesson. So here we say faqad li'anna fataka yusaddaru biqad, li'anna al-jawab al-shart yusaddaru biqad, because the response to the condition is having qad. Number 4, we have in takun mashghulan al-an sa'atika godan. So we say fasa'atika godan li'annaha sadara bi sin. So you can see. Number 5, we have intaha darusu faman arada an yakhruja falyakhruj, because here it is al-amru. Number 6, in ta'ti sa'at al-ashrata tajidni fil bayti insha'Allah. So you can see tajidni, it's not important to put fa. Number 7, mahma takulli falan usaddiqaka, here because it is having what? Lan. Number 8, قال المراقب للمدرس من جاء متأخرا لا تسمح له بالدخول. So here we say فلا تسمح له بالدخول. Number 9, إن أنجح بتقدير ممتاز فهل أحصل على جائزة. So we say what? فهل أحصل, there's no important here. So next, إن تكن مستعجلا لست مستعجلا. So next we have in falastu mustajilan. Next, in tarahu sahihan ma arahu sahihan. If you find it correct, I don't find it correct. So you say fama arahu sahihan. Next we have ma ansa la ansa dhaka al-manzar. If you forget, I do not forget that what? That sight. Next we have in yas'alka ahadun anni faqul lahu ana inda al-mudir. من يريد هذا الكتاب فهو عند المدير. إذا سألني المدير عنك فماذا أقول له؟ يدرس بالجامعة الإسلامية طلاب من جميع أنحاء العالم، فمن درس فيها فكأنما درس في جامعات كثيرة. من يقول هذا الكلام إنه صادق، ما تزرع تحصد، فإنه صادق. إن تزرني سوف فسوف أزرك. من يستغفر الله يغفر له. You can see all of these. Now the next one we have تأمل المثال. Study the following example. ثم كون جملا على جراره مستعينا بالعبارات الآتية. Then form sentences on the other side of it, opposite it. Number one, we have من أراد أن يخرج فليخرج. So you have من أراد أن يدخل الجنة فليعمل عملا صالحا. من أراد أن يعرف الأخبار فليقرأ الصحف ويسمع لذاك. من أراد أن يجلس في الصف الأول في المسجد فليذهب مبكرا. من أراد أن يسألني سؤالا فليسألني بعد انتهاء الدرس. من أراد أن يذهب إلى المستشفى فليأخذ ورقة من المدير. من أراد أن ينجح بتقدير ممتاز فليجتهد ليلا نهارا. من أراد أن يفهم الإسلام فهما جيدا فليتعلم اللغة العربية. من أراد أن يحترمه الناس فليحترمهم. You can see. Now next we have أين أداة الشرط والشرط وجوابه في كل جملة ما يأتي. Here in the following sentences, verses, you are to indicate the particle of condition in this sentence, the verb of condition, and also the response. ضع خطا واحدا تحت أداة الشرط. You have to place a single line under the particle of condition. وخطين تحت الشرط, and 2 lines under the verb of condition. وثلاثة خطوط تحت جواب الشرط, and 3 lines under the response to condition. وإذا كان الجواب مقترنا بالفاء فاذكر السبب. And if the response is carrying fa, then mention the reason. Now we have قال تعالى ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا. Allah says whoever fears Allah, He will make a way out for him. So man here is the adat, يتق الله is the shart, ويجعل له مخرجا is the جواب الشرط. Number 2 we have قال تعالى إن يكن منكم 20 صابرون يغلبوا 200. If there are 20 patient ones amongst you, they will overcome 200. So in is the adat, يكن منكم 20 صابرون is the يكن there is the فعل الشرط, and يغلبوا is the جواب الشرط. So قال تعالى, Allah says فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له. Whoever intends good, such person will get good. So man here is the adat, tatawa is the adat, is the fi'l shart, and also fahuwa there is the jawab shart, and it is carrying fa because it is jumlatun ismiyya. Qala Prophet said man adraka rak'atan min as-salat faqad adraka as-salat. Whoever catch up with a unit of the prayer, such a person has made the prayer. So man here is the adat, adraka rak'atan min as-salat is the shart, and faqad adraka as-salat is jawab shart, and it is carrying fa because of qad. Number 5 we have قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من حمل علينا السلاح فليس منا. Whoever carries the sword against us is not with us. So here فليس. Now من قتل دون ماله فهو شهيد. Whoever is killed defending his wealth, such a person is a martyr. من أطاعني فقد أطاع الله ومن عصاني فقد عصى الله ومن يطع الأمير فقد أطاعني ومن يعصي الأمير فقد عصاني. Prophet Muhammad said من أكل من هذه الشجرة فلا يقربنا. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه وإن لم يستطع بالقلب وذاك ضعف الإيمان. Then Al-Mutanabbi said فمن يكن ذا فم مر مريض. Whoever has a bitter sick mouth يجد مرا به الماء الزللا, will find even the most clean and pure water bitter. So the word yaku here is originally from yakun. Yajuz has for noon yakun takun akun akun. So you can decide to remove the noon. Now number 4 we have هات عشرة أمثلة للشرط والجواب على أن يكون الجواب في كل واحد منها على النحو التالي. You have to bring 10 examples of a shart and also جواب الشرط, and the response of each of them should come in the following. First one is جملة اسمية. So we can say Just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, okay, let's not use Iza here. We can choose to use Iza, okay, let's use in. Since in is what we have been discussing since, we can say in taral mudira fa innaka mufsalun. If you see the principal, then you are expelled. Number two, we have فعلا طلبيا. We can say in tadhhab fadhhab. In ذهب فاذهب. If he goes, then go. Number three, we have فعلا طلبيا نحو. We can say in ذهب المدير فلا تذهب. فعلا طلبيا الاستفهام إن تذهب فماذا تفعل. مقترنا بلن إن تذهب فلن أذهب. مقترنا بمع النافية we can say إن تذهب فما أنا بذاهب. next مقترنا بسوف إن تذهب فسوف أذهب. مقترنا بالسين إن تذهب فسأذهب. فعلا جامدا إن تذهب فليس بموجود. مقترنا بقد إن تذهب فقد رسبت. Now we have أدخل كلا من أدوات الشرط الآتية في جملة مفيدة. You have to place each of the following أدوات الشرط in a complete sentence. The first one is in. The second one is so you can say in تذهب أذهب. You can say من يأكل يشبع. You can say ما تقرأ أقرأ. مهما تأكل لن أصدقك. متى تذهب أذهب. أين تذهب أذهب. أي كتب تقرأ أقرأ. So you can see. With this, we come to the end of this lesson, and until we meet again, we shall continue with the next lesson, which is still under this lesson. Until then, Assalamu alaikum.